of what if we simply did not try and waited for the end game to come out? Would Robert Downey Jr. have existed for the express right to tell us, I wish I would try harder? And I acknowledge that fact as a belief that was placed upon me, my generation, that I identified as millennials, the dreamers. I acknowledge that dream as part of the American dream. I acknowledge that dream as part of the world conquest for peace. I considered the fact that what if the English, the British, simply did not want to admit fault, and they simply wanted to be shown that we do fuck up from time to time, you know. We southern fried folk, we free thinkers. How are you, free thinker? Are you free? I literally offered free thought itself as a fact. I offered the fact, not a fact of will, a fact of evidence of everything around us, of the reason why I stand naked if I so stand in a room, that our idea of security, in computer security, network security, whatever, I concluded that that was a form of misdirection, a form of a play on words. I suggested that a play on words was this whole thing. I suggested that this whole thing that I suggested was a play, or an act, a class act, or was it actually you just asking, can we do something? Can we stop bitching? Then I asked in the same terms, I was like, can we just stop pissing and moaning and bitching about and get some shit done? I wish I would have me some money. Well, I wish for some nice things. And what grateful rosters where they died in shame and road. They're simple. How would we think of the Africans? How would we think of South Africa? How would we think of Red Hat and the guy you guys sent to us and IBM for what they did, and the fact that my friend JJ, working for IBM, had gone there not as a convenience but a matter of suggestion that he should not be where he wants to be. He replied to me in one of my bitchiness. It was like, hey, here's my beliefs. I totally believe these things. I do not have any opinions on these. These are my facts. Y'all got some facts now. Bye. I'm an IBM person, but I'm not going to tell you I'm an IBM person. Look it up. And so then I had a few of my people who I knew from the past start professing some of my stuff. My old buddy Major Hayden from Rackspace, he realized that I simply did not agree that he was there at the time, that I did not consider that on a Saturday he was probably working, and that he probably heard me. I disagreed with the fact that he heard me and assumed something, and presumed that he was a little ashamed because I bitched about something. I presumed that his shame was fact, and his fact was evidence. The evidence of my disbelief of his ability to exist was the very reason that we did not exist as people, that we existed as products, that we existed as advertising, as a product for our phones. And then I simply asked if we did not put lithium-ion batteries in our phones, what of Dr. John Goodenough in Austin, Texas? What of my Austin, Texas, if it not weird? And what of my weirdness, if not my beloved Texas tea being poured out of the ground, if this to be professed from the earth by a charlatan, when it belongs to my partner and her right and her legacy? And I said, why would all of those be taken away if we were so progressive? What if my RSUs, my restricted stock units, and I reasoned with those? I said, what if those? What if I needed some money and I simply had to wait? Am I not bitching about we need some money? Am I not saying we got some money over in Fort Knox? Why don't we go unlock our Fort Knox? Can I have my Fort Knox, please? Military, can I have my Fort Knox? I know it's mine. I pay y'all for it. Can we have some of our freedoms? Hey, militaries, y'all followers, y'all ain't following. Y'all are leading by example. Here's my example. And I did not profess my actual name simply because I knew that there was probably mob connections, and I presumed that they were probably watching. And I presumed that if they were probably watching, they were seeing what I might do if I were so interested to see what it's all about. I suggested that what they were doing was both right and wrong, and that their desire to hide in secret was a self-evidence of the lack of desire to be determined for their intent, their motive of choice. As in, they simply just wanted to do what they did, whatever they wanted to do, however they wanted to do it, as long as we didn't get in their way. That we so decided to call it crime was a crime of equality. an indirection, a misdirection, a transgression, a form of suppression of the freedom of free thinking. And I conclude that everybody who does something against somebody, consider why you're doing it. Why would you buy something in Walmart and let a woman named Joy stock candy if not to give her a right of oil? Is that her right to dine at Walmart with broken teeth and indignation because she feels less of a woman because she has to work in Walmart for a few bucks an hour to stock some Skittles so some fat asses can roll up in there and stuff their gobs with their God-given right to eat some sugar because Texas said, Texas is good, and America says, yeah, sugar might be a good idea, and advertisers are like, you know what, Texas good and sugar, they might be a thing. Those are good things. I'm like, what if that good thing you so thought about was not the good thing that was told you, but the good thing that it so professed you consumed? Your excess. What if I presumed that excess is a product of desire, and that a product of desire was a product of want, and a product of want is a product of the self-evidence of fact, the lack of belief, the proposition of disposition, the imposition of reality, the opposite of fact. And what is the opposite of fact? Is it convenient? Is it inconvenient? Or is it a man named Gore, and his first name Alan, his name is from Tennessee, and he happened to suggest that we have this little interconnected network of 1969, 2 years after the fallout of 1967, which is when Generation X started, when they so sought to clean their filthy ways, and we normalized all of our bullshit behind convenience, and then we simply wondered why that if we thought so differently, why would we consider somebody so differently for thinking? Were we not so different for thinking that? Were you so different from me? Did you exist? Did I exist? Am I saying this to you? Are you seeing this here? Have you seen all of this? And I'm not telling you. I'm simply suggesting, as I said. Like, are you seeing all of these things that I laid before you? Of these symbols in the room, of these fires of desire? And simply ask if the fire of desire is not your own belief. Does that make sense?
That's a lot to take in.
Yes, it is. It's a lot to take in because it's a lot of corrections to a lot of incorrections, to a lot of misjudgments, to a lot of impositions, to a lot of dispositions to the fact that we simply did not believe that we might be wrong sometimes. That we simply agree that we might be a little different because we disagreed on a matter of difference. That because our indifference was existence, that we were unequal in our right to believe that we could. That we did not believe that we could because neither one of us would stop bitching about, why don't you do something? Why don't you do something? Why don't you share? Why don't we work together? Why don't you do something? And that women simply wanted to exist and not lead or work or have jobs or build families. I think I even touched on the Brown family. So why don't you think of them and their plight and all this bullshit? Why are we doing this? And then at the very end, I touched on Ancestry and 23andMe. I'm like, why are we doing this if not to keep an eye on what's going on? Would we do this out of convenience, or would we simply do it because that's our right? Would we have our salvation, or would we give ourselves a great salt lake and call it convenience? And I simply validated that. Validated all that. Validated the practices, your beliefs of Mormonism itself, of any religion itself that might ever existed. Ancient times, I think all the way back to the Romans, and to agree with their disagreement that they simply did not try, that they agreed to do something, and that was their way of doing something, that the product of Rome is the reality that exists. The reality of Rome as it exists is it's a city, and it's a city covered in garbage, and that Rome covered in garbage is an example of our excess, then Rome is a symbol of ourself, and the symbol of ourself is the reality of fact. And the imposition of fact is belief. The opposite of belief is disbelief, doubt. The opposite of doubt, what is doubt?
It's still a lot.
If the opposite of doubt is not doubt, is it not validation? Is it not correctness? Is it not politeness? Is it not manners? Is it not all this bullshit we try to teach ourselves? Is it not simply, hey, we should simply act a little less cityfied, countrified, and act a little more like ourselves, no matter what we so desire to call ourselves, to express our beliefs, that sort of thing. To show a little compassion of, I might be a little pissed off because things are wrong, that I so desire to evoke a deep southern baptismal preacher, country charlatan, y'all should believe some shit. That bitchy, scratchy, angry sound was not out of convenience, but hey, we're listening, but we're not doing anything because we're so we're so designed to conform and fit in, and then I simply said, we could dance around this. Why should we dance around this? Why don't we just dance through shame? And here's some shame. Shame! Oh, how fortunate it is to be shame! How fortunate it is to be shame! That sort of thing. And I'm like, what if shame is not a profession of belief? What if not belief is a suspension of doubt? What is the belief of shame if not a belief that we did not want to believe? What if I validated that your right to shame was a right to believe, and that your shame was invalid, and I so invalidated your shame, your right to feel shameful about anything at all, good, bad, or anything? It was your own choice. And they simply reasoned that if women so know this, why would Elizabeth Warren want to run for office? Why would Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the youngest woman in Congress, Cortez, why would she seek glory and then profess it in the form of control? Why would she be the youngest woman and seek to be the youngest female dictator? What is the youngest female dictator if not a woman who simply wants to be recognized as a woman? What is a woman who does not want to be recognized as a woman? Is a little girl. I reasoned that she was not a little girl, that she was a reasonable woman, that she ran for her conviction, for her right, for her testament, her fact, her evidence, her lack of belief, her suspension of disbelief, her conviction, her evidence, resolved to herself, her belief in herself, her self-image, her self-worth, self-esteem, whatever we want to empower ourselves with. The empowerment that we were so disempowered, so disillusioned by our own belief, that we wished it out of the way and we simply wish that somebody would do something. I wish that we would do all of those things. I would do some of those things. If I would do none of those things, I would sit here and bitch about it. That I would sit here and bitch about it is simply not that I would do something. No, if I would just go find a job, why would I just go find a job in my beloved blah 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 blah, and then simply spouted off the random tidbits of things I knew. Spout off a little bit of German. I'm like, hey, remember these Germans? What if Hitler simply disagreed because he wanted some new paintbrushes? What if he thought people to be his paintbrushes and his paint to be, play catch with history? What if I saw history? I'm like, man, why y'all kids playing around with some history bullshit? Why don't we stop bullshitting around and stop doing some real shit, the real deal? I even called out the hypocrisy of evidence as the lack of suspicion, and the lack of suspicion is the imposition of belief, and the imposition of belief is a belief that one is not powered, and if one is so empowered, they're disenfranchised. As a disenfranchised individual, they are not united, and if unity is division, and that the opposite of division is not death, then what is death if not the fact of evidence, of self-evidence, of rights?
That's a lot to take in. Will you go get me an Adderall, because my brain is not...
You don't have to take it all in. You don't have to.
No, but I need an Adderall.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm very positive. I have not taken it today. Will you go get my Adderall so that I can start processing, because I've been reading everything.
You don't have to read anything.
You wanted me to read...
No, you don't have to read it. You just simply have to understand.
No, I do. Adderall. Will you go get my Adderall, please?
Okay, I'm simply asking that if you so desire, we consider the reason that all of our crazy people are considered crazy, that we're not so crazy, we try to bottle up our own desires. And if we bottle up our own desires, they're not a product of science, but a problem of charlatans and idiots and liars and dumbasses who think themselves stuffed suits and morons in chief and presidents of desire and blah, 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 all sorts of metaphors. I simply point out, what is a metaphor? If not a suggestive idea. It's not a suggestive idea, it's a suggestion. Was this not a suggestion, or was this a fact? Was this not convenient, or was Al Gore not president? What is not Al Gore's presidency if Michael Bolton, a hawker, a charlatan, knocking on my Pentagon, my hidden star, my secret star, my, hey, somebody's knocking on the door of, we're taking over your ship. Beep, beep, beep. Symbols. I reasoned that the French were right, the Germans were right, Russians were right to be wrong. All Kims, Kim Kardashian, Simpsons, OJ, murder self-judges, judged, convicted juries, pedophiles, non-believers, believers, individuals who you might consider a written word is a thing, as if it's considered a rock. I consider the fact of what my cat What if one of my cats came up to me and simply tapped on my arm and asked me if he could jump on my shoulder? And I positioned that evidence, that belief of what I observed, my observations, as the product of my picture, my avatar, my image, my standard, my logo, my right to my self-expression, as a cat on my shoulder, if not he wanted to see himself as my equal. Well, what is my binary if not my equal? He is not my equal. He does not understand my goodness, my Gandalf, my wizard. He's loving me as I'm talking. And he's talking because he understands. He won't speak my language because we don't speak the same language. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
By reason that we knew how to talk with nature ourselves, but we simply decided to not listen to it because it simply decided that we were not listening to ourselves, that we were doing weird shit to our animals because we thought we could control them, and that they simply knew that they might have a little difference, a matter of opinion, an idea. And I considered the fact that what if a friend who wrote a client for IRC considered the fact that cats did not have an identity of self. I look at that, I look at the cat next to me, I'm like, hey, are you a cat? And the cat's rubbing on me. And the cat knows that he is validated as an individual. He knows that he's been justified for being justified as needed to be controlled as a pet. And I'm like, what is a pet if not a slave? What is a slave if not a friend? What is a friend if not somebody who's sitting there going, hey, yeah, we're in this together, buddy. What are we going to decide? We can decide so that we have a routine. Are we going to have a routine? Or are we going to do something? Are we going to listen to Bob Barker? Or are we going to beat Bob Barker? I simply point out all those things. I didn't say the price is right. I'm like, you know, what is all these things? What if Bob Barker was telling you these things? You know, using his examples of his name, of his hypocrisy of evidence, as in his conviction, as in his desire to profess his lies of belief. That he would call his name Barker, and his first name Bob. Robbing, dog. Make sense?
It's still a lot.
I reasoned with the fact that Scotland, in all those years, that anyone after the name of Johnson might have considered, we know what's out there. Do you? I'm like, what are those Johnsons, all those people along the way, what are their castles? What if their cast too big for 400 pounds, if not a plaything for excess? Would that not be a castle? What is a castle if not a home? What is a home if not a house? What is a house if not a person? What is a person if not a belief? What is a belief if not a thing? Blah, 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 blah. Basically, all the questions that you seek to answer, I provided the salvation and the answer that you seek in yourself. Because you're right in anything you want to believe. Does that make sense? Is that common sense? Or are we pennies? Or are we people? Or am I just fucking around and saying some words so you would consider that I'm considering myself a little different? Because I think that we might be unnaturally thinking. What would you suggest?
I would ask that.
And then if I went in there and took a shower, cleaned myself, but I did not wash, scrub, I just simply sweat me on. This work. Okay, shower's up. I simply asked, what if I had a shower and not a bath?
I think that.
And I think whenever I said that, pretty much any woman was like, yes! Fuck yes, he's listening. Somebody's listening. They're listening. I'm like, hey, men, what if you, but not listening to the desires of your own whims? What if women, if not wanting to follow the desires of their own? What is partnership, if not a desire, a compromise, an agreement that we want to do something, whatever we so desire? And that's something you suggested. What if a compromise is an agreement? An agreement is fact. And if a fact is fact, what is the opposite of fact? Is it not fact? Or is it convenience? What is convenience if not a movie, if not by name, whose last name represented atrocity, and he suggested we could suggest something else if we called ourselves whatever. And I said, hey, all that shit, if we want to read it, we can. That's history. We acknowledged it. the day. Your rights as a person, consider them. Why don't we leave our earth and stop fucking around and simply go find out what's there? Why don't we stop finding out what we can find inside and simply find out what we can do? And then I simply suggest, what if that not the lazy millennial label that people self-call people my age for not trying a little harder, for working, for not agreeing, for not doing some shit, for not listening to our plight? Would that not be your beliefs? Or would that be mine? My spite? Or would that be your scorn for not being validated as a woman? For somebody did something wrong to women long ago and said, nah, we didn't do anything. Why would I be talking about this if I'm not?
What are you doing, boo-boo?
Yeah, he wants to see light. He's trying to open the window because he wants you to see that we're not closed in, that we're open in our individuality. He's trying to show you what you're trying to show yourself in the phone. You see this? Okay. So you see that?
Yes, he likes playing with those.
No. That's not him liking it. That is not his desire to play with it. His desire is to show you that he's showing you. He's examining your example, your understanding, your individuality, and considering, is he not an individual for he not recognize you, for you not recognize his actions? And he's looking around as if to consider that I indignified him for validating him. And he's trying to open the window, trying to open a shade, because I'm throwing shade, throwing doubt, throwing reasonable doubt that he might know what he's doing. And that him over there playing with a string to open a window, to open a shade, might be to shine some light on an inconvenient fact that we are so ignoring. That we controlled the very idea of control itself by defining the form of chaos. And what is chaos if not a theory? And what is theory if not the suspicion of evidence? What is the suspicion of evidence if not a belief of doubt? And what is the belief of doubt?
I just wanted to get these pictures.
Okay, I would ask you that you answer my question. I'll simply, I want to do this.
I don't know.
Facts. Boo-boo. Facts. That's what I'm telling you.
I know. The fact is that I asked you to get my Adderall because my brain does not function without my Adderall.
Boo-boo, I'm asking you that Adderall is simply a means to control a way of thinking.
Okay. That is your belief. That is not my belief.
I asked that
you said that, everyone can believe what they want to believe, and this is what I believe. I've asked you, if you cannot do that for me, I will do it for myself.
Okay.
But if you would be so nice as to go do that for me, that would be awesome. I would...
And that's what I validated online. On the internet, on Twitter.
Okay.
I validated
I need for you to validate my request.
I'm tired.
I know.
I hurt.
You've been up for a while, baby. So...
I feel like I wrestled with my very thought. My fear of being here. Are we a piece of shit? Are we not shit? Are we please?
it say?
This is right here. Good Old Games is a website that services games.
Okay.
It's run by a bunch of people in Poland. And this is their message. Save, not save. Save yourself. Save up to 80%. Moderate and put some action. Moderate and do something. Do something nicely because we asked.
Okay. I'm gonna get my other one. Where is it?
That I'm asking for you to look for is that I'm asking you to consider. I'll give you this and I would consider that if we do not need it, why we take it. If we were not prescribed, why are we prescribed? It's not a prescription, but a subscription. It's not a subscription, but a belief. What is a belief but a desire? What is a desire if something is wrong? What if wrong is right? What if right is right? What if
I have to go take a shower.
please take a shower? If you would so seek cleanliness,